Visa wants to know where you would like to be. Whether you're a super fan or just in it to win your league, Visa knows we want to spend less time standing in line and more time pursuing our passions. That's why for over 60 years, Visa's been adding innovative plays to the way we pay. From tapping to pay to getting paid in 30 minutes or less, they're giving businesses and consumers more tools to do just that. They know that every Visa transaction is a promise. Whether it's a street vendor in front of a stadium or picking up the latest NFL gear online, Visa wants to provide us with the most secure and easy payment experience possible so everyone, everywhere, can get to where they'd like to be. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Hey y'all, Uncle Jimmy here. When you speak for yourself, you're forced to think for yourself. And when you think for yourself, the sports world looks different. In order to enjoy this podcast and this show, you need to have the courage to look at the world from alternative points of view and not be offended when you disagree. Speak for Yourself isn't your Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram feed. SFY tells you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. So, welcome aboard, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
We start the Carolina Panthers. All right, for a lot of men and women, there's no reason to have a big pile of money unless everyone knows you have a big pile of money. This mentality is pervasive across all ethnic, racial, and economic groups. The commercial rap music industry is built on this human vanity. I grew up on a bar stool at my dad's neighborhood tavern in Indianapolis's inner city. Factory workers and postal employees would come in on payday and pay for $3 beers out of thick wads of $20 bills held together by a rubber band. In the media industry, there's a core group of talent whose contract negotiations always play out in the newspapers and all over the blogosphere. Thousandaires and millionaires find clever ways to let the world know they're rolling in it. Billionaires buy sports teams. That's how they flex. That's how they escape the anonymity of the tech industry, Wall Street, the real estate market, and the oldest billionaire profession, inheritance. Owning a sports franchise is the Billionaires Hall of Fame. It's more prestigious and satisfying than a perfectly sculpted 30-something trophy wife or mistress, a summer estate at Martha's Vineyard, or regular sits-downs with the president. David Tepper, the owner of the Carolina Panthers, received his gold jacket in May of 2018. He paid $2.2 billion so that people would know exactly who he was. Manipulating hedge funds made Tepper filthy rich. Owning an NFL franchise made him famous. Fame is ego's protein. You can only grow so strong without protein. At some point, a human's ego plateaus without an influx of fame. The Panthers are Tepper's protein. Firing head coach Ron Rivera and announcing it's time to put his personal stamp on the organization is the loosing of Tepper's ego. At a net worth of $11 billion, Tepper's the NFL's richest owner, and he's about to let the world know it. He's the smartest guy in the room. He's got this whole football thing figured out. Yesterday, Tepper explained why he might lean toward hiring an offensive-minded head coach. He said, quote, "In the modern NFL, I think there's a preference for offensive coordinators. I think there are reasons for that. That does not mean that if you find somebody fantastic on the defensive side, I won't consider it. If he had old school discipline and modern and innovative processes, the question is if you can have a defensive guy that has that too. He may think the offensive coaches have that more, and then it's how that gets implemented. The NFL has made rules to lean to the offense. That's why you're having more people go that way." All right, the best coaches so far this year are Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, Pete Carroll, Sean Payton, Kyle Shanahan, and Bill Belichick. Only 2 of those 6 come from the offensive side of the football. According to all reports, Ron Rivera will be the hottest NFL head coaching prospect this offseason. Nearly every team expected to fire their coach will strongly consider bringing in Rivera, a defensive-minded coach. David Tepper might take the NFL by storm and turn the Panthers into the Patriots, but he's going to learn manipulating football franchises is quite a bit more difficult than manipulating hedge funds. All right, joining the desk now are Fox Sports NFL analysts Mark Schlereth and LeVar Arrington. Marcellus, I'll start with you. Do you like David Tepper's mindset headed into this coaching search?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Maybe it comes off as profound because he said, which is actually the obvious way that the NFL is going in terms of looking at the NFL rules and how they're leaning offensive and looking at the NFL hires as they're leaning offensive. So maybe some were caught off guard by this, but I thought it was just brilliantly stated. One, if he looks at his own situation, his two greatest assets lean on the offensive side, the potential of Cam Newton going forward and Christian McCaffrey. Let's just be real about that. And the funny thing about everything he said is just absolute truth. But he's not the only one manipulating the situation. I love you, Jason Whitlock, but you know what? I got to call out a little manipulation on yours. When you talked about the 6 coaches so far this year, only 2 of them are defensive.
Or
offensive,
yeah.
right? Okay,
Yes.
let's get into not just the coaches that are the best, but objective standard, the best records. The 10 best records in the NFL this year. I wonder if there are offensive, defensive coaches. Oh, I know the numbers. 5 of them are offensive, 4 defensive, and 1 is a special teams coach. And John Harbaugh, who really is Greg Roman. So then, therefore, that's offensive. But I'm not going to go there because I want to go with results, not just by record. Who knows what these teams going to turn into this year? Last year, the Final 4, AFC and NFC championship games, 3 of those 4 coaches were offensive. So
Bill Belichick won.
Oh, yeah, he won. He won. And the lowest scoring offense in Super Bowl ever. But the point of it is, you have to lean where you're going to get the most advantage. And offensively, his team is going to lean that way, and the league is leaning that way as well.
Well, I would just tell you this, and I'll disagree with you. What you need is a great manager of men. You need a great leader of men as your head coach, whether that guy comes from the defensive side of the ball or the offensive side of the ball, where owners get duped. They get duped into believing that the next young, innovative offensive mind, that is like Viagra for 60 to 70 to 80-year-old owners, right? That's what they think about. They're like, oh, the innovation. Yeah, there hasn't been a new route combination run in 20 years. It's all the same stuff. We all run the same things. We all run a flat, we run a flat slant. We run a flat corner. We run the same exact route combinations, 3x1, 2x2. It's all the same. Everybody runs the same stuff. It's really about execution and getting the most out of the players that you have been blessed to coach. That's what it's about. So whether it's offense or defense really doesn't matter to me. It's who's a manager of your football team and who's a manager of men. That's what you need to look for. The other thing for me is owners think that if I get somebody young, they'll relate to the players. That's a bunch of hogwash. You know what? You can either articulate your points and you can either communicate with people or you can't. And it matters not how old you are. Like sometimes youth is used against you when you're dealing with players. So I need a guy that communicates, a guy that leads, and a guy that manages the football team, not somebody that's young and offensive, and that's going to be my best opportunity. I just think that's a flawed way of thinking.
I like his mindset. I like it a lot, and I think the brilliance in it is not based upon anything that you guys have just introduced into the discussion. I think you've had all defensive-minded coaches coach since the existence of the Carolina Panthers, starting with Dom Capers, going through Seifert. You had John Fox, right? All defensive-minded coaches. You have not had one offensive-minded coach as the coach of this team. You talked about his brain on protein and here's your egg, here's your ego, boom, drop it in there. He's selling his clientele. He's saying what, in layman terms, he's making it very edible and very buy into-able for his clientele. Why is that? What drives the National Football League? Touchdowns, points. He's already positioning himself to win the offseason, to start selling tickets, to start selling merchandise, to make his organization, his franchise more valuable than it already is. That is a businessman's approach to what's taking place, if you ask me my opinion.
Winning is the greatest ticket seller in all of sports.
But you can win by selling tickets before you even play a game. I played in a place where you won in the off season. You played there as well, Mark Schlereth. They wanted to win in the offseason.
Okay,
we
great.
brought in Donovan McNabb. We brought in Mark Schlereth. We brought in LeVar Arrington. And you sell them tickets and you sell them jerseys. And it's winning becomes secondary.
So you just said David Tepper is going to be Daniel Snyder and just like the Redskins, and you love the mindset. I don't.
No.
And again, to me,
go that far.
To me, I don't think you should go into this with any preconceived notions, particularly when I look around the league and defensive coaches are doing quite well. And so I don't think there's an advantage, offense, defense, and they can do all the things they want to do to the rules. And the defensive guys always figure out a way to play defense and win football games and stop offenses. They can come up with all the rule changes they want. The people on the defensive side are survivors, and they're going to figure out a way to impose their will on football teams. Just go out and find a good head coach. I look at this guy as, I put my stamp on the organization. When you bought the damn team, that was your stamp. If you somehow think you're smarter than all the other NFL owners and you got it figured out, you don't. You're a hedge fund manager. Yeah, you had a little small interest in the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's great. But football people are going to decide. And so, to me, the owner that thinks that he's going to find the perfect head coach, and all this to me screams a setup of, I'm hiring Greg Roman. That's how I heard
Dallas
it.
or Carolina?
Carolina.
Okay.
That's what he sounds like.
Okay, I have 2 points of order for you, LeVar.
Yep.
One, I played in Washington where we won the regular season and the postseason.
That is correct.
Okay, so I'm older than you.
Yes, you're right. I was just using you as an example, but you're right.
And two, you used the word brilliance. Let me just tell you this. Brilliance and football are mutually exclusive events, all right? You and I strapped thin pieces of plastic on each other's heads, and we slammed them into each other, okay? That's not brilliance. The bottom line is you got to get the right guy. You got to get a guy that motivates young men, that coaches young men, that grows them up. And that's what you need.
That is true.
All right, let's move to Cam Newton, who said he was, quote, hurt deep by Ron Rivera's firing. Reportedly, Cam will have surgery on his injured foot, but he should be fully healthy by March, just in time for the Panthers to make a decision about what they want to do with their franchise quarterback. All right, the question here is, think Cam can still be a successful starting quarterback?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. It's funny. Every time I hear a football player say that they're going to rehab their injury, I just look at them as like, when you gonna have your surgery, bro? Like, when you gonna fast forward this process and get to fixing yourself so you can get back out there? You rehab if you're gonna be a layman. You rehab if you're just gonna pick up your kids after school. But if you're trying to pick up linebackers and run around defenses, you need to go have that surgery. And he finally has started his healing process properly. Now he's gonna come in with a different confidence. That's gonna allow him a different confidence applied to a healthy body to see what's left in that toothpaste.
Did y'all say foot or feelings? Is he rehabbing in surgery his feelings or his foot?
What are you trying to suggest?
What was that y'all just said? Was it foot or feelings? Because to me, if he rehabs his feelings and his foot is healthy, he can be a successful quarterback.
So you're saying something's wrong with his mindset?
I mean,
or what? Where we going?
Whit threw something out there yesterday when we were talking about Lamar Jackson, and I thought it was, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Say brilliant.
Talking about, he used exclusive.
I knew you
I'm not going to use brilliant with Whit right now.
Don't
So when you talk about the mindset, he said it's a two-way buy-in. It's a two-way. It's a buy-in from the organization. It's a buy-in from the player. Can Cam rehabilitate himself as a human enough to buy into who this new coach is going to be? And will this franchise be humble enough to buy into what they assess Cam Newton to be moving forward? That will dictate whether he's able to be successful or not.
Here's my biggest question mark about Cam, because I believe that he can still be a very successful quarterback in this league. The issue that I have, and I don't know that this is, because I think it goes against almost your instinct as a football player. When you've been touched by the hand of God, that guy has, right? Mm-hmm. He is unbelievable.
Amen.
And your default mechanism has always been, I'm bigger, I'm faster, and I'm stronger. Let me run somebody over. So as a quarterback, your default mechanism, when things break down, when pressure or you're under duress, it should be from the neck up, right? Mm-hmm. I got to protect myself. I got to protect my football team. When you've been touched by the hand of God since you were a child and you've always defaulted from the neck down, can you change that? Mm-hmm. Can you create a new mindset? I don't know that you can. I really don't. I think it's almost instinct in your body. It's put in there. And if he can change that pattern, if he can reprogram himself to change that, to go from the neck up as my default mechanism and live to fight another down and make best friends with my punter, then yes, he can be successful. If he can't, he won't last.
Samson couldn't do it.
My position on Cam is he can be a successful starting quarterback outside of Carolina. If I'm Cam, and I just heard the owner say, I'm going to put my stamp on this football team,
You did, man.
that means all the old gets washed out or easily washed out if it doesn't go well. That's not an owner that's really going to buy into Cam. Now, he may, hey, we got 1 year left. It's a good deal. Let's see what you can do. But if I'm Cam, I move to a new organization and try to restart my career. I don't think he has a successful path in Carolina.
Two things. One, I think that we're reading from David Tepper in terms of putting his fingerprint, his stamp on this organization is being misread. A lot of people in Carolina are saying that means what Jerry Richardson brought to this organization and the way he went out, he's trying to clean house of that mentality. You guys look into those details if you don't know what I'm talking about. But basically, that was not a situation with a proper exit. So he's trying to clean house in that respect. Two, if you're Cam Newton, remember everyone said he couldn't learn a new style, a new way to play, how to play in the pocket. North Turner comes around. He went out there and before injury, 68% completion percentage, his highest of his career, showed a different version of himself and was in the MVP conversation. So I think some of that DNA is still in this guy.
In some states, the week after Christmas brings the heaviest caseload for police. Break-ins spike every single year during the holidays because families are traveling and burglars know people have expensive gifts lying around. What's crazy is that only 1 in 5 homes have home security. Probably because most companies don't make it easy. Most companies make long-term contracts full of hidden fees with astronomical monthly prices. Simply Safe is the #1 choice for home security. It's comprehensive professional home security at a fair price. And right now is the best time of the year to get a Simply Safe security system. For the holidays, you get a huge discount on your security system and a free security camera. Simply Safe protects every room, door, window with 24/7 professional monitoring. If there's a break-in, Simply Safe can give a real-time video confirmation so police respond up to 3.5 times faster. With Simply Safe, there's no contract, hidden fees, or fine print. Prices are fair and honest, starting at just $15 a month. Go to simplysafe.com/speak now to take advantage of Simply Safe's amazing holiday savings and get a free HD security camera. This offer is for a limited time only, and it's ending soon, so hurry. That's simplysafe.com/speak to save big and get a free security camera. Simply Safe, SIMPLISAFE.com/speak. Whitlock and Wiley, Mark Schlereth is back with us. We're joined now by Super Bowl champion Will Blackman. Time now for a big story. Let's move to Philadelphia, where the Eagles are looking to bounce back after an embarrassing loss to the Dolphins Sunday. Philly hosts the lowly Giants Monday night, but New York is actually saying that Eli Manning is likely to get the start in place of Daniel Jones, who suffered a high ankle sprain against the Packers. The move could be good news for Carson Wentz and company. Eli has been a disaster against the Eagles in recent years, losing 9 of his last 10 to Philly with some pretty lousy numbers. All right, the question here is Eli Manning starting good or bad news for the Eagles?
Nothing for the Eagles. Nothing for the Giants. This falls flat, even though we're going to entertain with the answer to this. Let me tell you why. He doesn't provide energy to the New York Giants because they're like, this ain't our future. This is not what we're buying into. And Eli's career record is 116 and 116. Golly, talk about wow, flatline in terms of what his status is. Now, let's look if you're the Eagles. You would have this as, oh, man, circle this game. Got the backup, and it's Eli. And what are we against Eli? 1-9? Eli has beaten us only 1 time. We beaten him 9 times. Oh, let's go get Eli. Except, damn it, last week we lost to the Dolphins. And they had Ryan Fitzpatrick out there looking magical. So guess what? You can't even lick your chops when you see Eli because you don't trust yourself against lowly quarterbacks. So I think this just lands like, hey, we got to play this one straight up.
I think it's bad. I think it's bad for the Eagles in that you have no idea what he's going to be. Like, does Eli just want to go off into retirement?
I do.
No, you don't.
3 picks. We got to bet.
Can I tell?
We got to bet.
Okay, well,
3
I'm
picks.
just going to say, how much money you won gambling this year?
3 picks. We're not betting.
Okay,
Okay.
all
We're not
right.
betting.
But they don't have any idea. Like, is this the Eli that was ready for Christmas, right? Ready for Christmas feast? Or is this an Eli that says, hey, man, I still want to continue my career. Maybe I can go out and showcase myself. There's plenty of teams that need a quarterback. You know, the thing is he hasn't played in so long, you're not sure what you're going to get. That's
right.
not a good thing
Vince
for the Eagles.
McMahon will be watching, and the XFL scouts will be
Come on.
Wow. No, I think it's bad for Philly. And I've been fortunate.
Because you were teammates with Eli.
Well, I wasn't
and he's
teammates,
watching.
but I have played against regular season Eli, which we weren't worried about, but also was unpredictable. And I've been fortunate to play with postseason Eli, which we know, he was elite. But this is return of the prodigal son. This is Eli coming back. They want to see their guy one more time if possible. And I feel like he's going to play well this week. So I'm excited for
That's
Eli.
a gut feeling.
I'm about to say, that's homeboy rhetoric right there.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Why?
Listen, I'm always loyal to Easy Eli, man. That's my guy.
Eli Manning's going to throw 3 interceptions.
Minimum.
You would be too.
He'll be sacked 5 times.
Minimum.
And this will be his swan
5
song.
times?
Yeah, this will
and
be
3
his-
picks?
3 picks.
Can I jump in on
3
that?
picks and 5 sacks. Eli's going to Eli. He's been
go
collecting
Eli.
dust for what, like 8, 9, 10 weeks?
And he has nothing to lose, like Ryan Tannehill right now. Is playing because he has
He
nothing
ain't
to
going
lose.
to play like Ryan Tannehill.
The bottom line, though, is, like I said, when you haven't had film on him forever, you don't know what he's going to come out and play. Like, yeah, you may blow him out, but it's not like the Philadelphia Eagles are great
Eagles
straight.
are terrible.
They're
terrible.
They're a bad football team right now, and they've got to figure out what they are as well. So, I mean, let me just ask you this. Would you rather go against the known that you've watched on film for 4 weeks that is Daniel Jones, or would you rather go against the unknown that has the capability of coming out and having one hot streak?
I think
And
Eli's unknown.
Right. As a defense, I would rather go against the known rookie. That I would rather go against that.
Who's been struggling?
Who's been struggling.
But he has attributes that are difficult to defend in terms of his mobility.
He can actually run, yeah.
And continuing to play. Well, Eli is going to be the statue.
You know his zip code.
You know.
But he ain't
ever moved.
Right, he is unknown. That's why he was 500 in the regular season, because he is unknown.
All right, Marcellus, what you got?
Oh, man, post-Thanksgiving, you and I, Lord, 2 tons of fun, baby. It's time for that dudes, man. Let's start off with number 3. My man at LSU, Levon Chason. All right, now, come on, y'all. Name these kids right. Uses a spin move to get to the sack on Kellen Mond. Ooh, now let me show you how he does it. Off the snap, watch the linebacker going to drop into coverage. When he drops into coverage, leaves the guard uncovered. Now, as a defensive end, you never want to spin into an uncovered guard because usually he'll take your head off. But look at this athleticism and look at this courage, confidence. Gets in the gap, uses the spin move to get upfield, and then he bursts through the guard's arm, claps them ankles together, and brings them down for the sack. You know who you are? You dangerous, Levon. And you're also number 3, that dude of the week. Let's go with number 2. Y'all know who this is, the Donald. Aaron Donald of the Los Angeles Rams. Could be in there every week, but here he is right now. Aaron Donald, nice inside move, sacks Kyler Murray. Show you how he got this done. First, he's going to threaten the B gap off that snap. I'm going to threaten in here, but I'm going to counter the other way with the dead arm rip. Look at that, off balance. Knees, MCL, ACL, every L. Gone. Rips off clean with the hand, and now watch this awareness. Left arm, look at that. Bumper cars right there to just make sure he has the proper leverage to Kyler Murray. Aaron Donald, Lord. Number 2, that dude of the week.
Like a snake striking.
Man, beast. And number 1, we got Shy Tuttle of the Saints. Rapid shy movement. Intercepts Matt Ryan, then tosses him to the ground with a stiff jump put up out of here. That stiff arm right there. Let's show you how Tuttle is double teamed off the snap. Doesn't give up on the play. Why should he? He knows what he's supposed to do in these moments. You can't get to the quarterback. What you supposed to do? Have vision on him. Get your hands up. Oh, he got his hands up. Got the play. Now looking like Lamar Jackson. Watch this move right here. I see you. Got in that hole. Switches the ball to the opposite far hand, next level, and then physics kicks in. Matt Ryan, U220. Shot Tuttle's 300. Get your butt up out of here. Hit him with that right there. Matt Ryan thinking about just when do I get paid? And look, Shot Tuttle, you know who you are. You the best. that dude of the week.
Young Jerry Ball. All right, thanks, Marcellus. That was awesome.
Yep,
All right,
yep.
let's now move to Dallas, where Jason Garrett's future continues to dominate the headlines after Jerry Jones gave Garrett a bizarre vote of confidence yesterday. One Cowboys legend, our guy Troy Aikman, had a lot to say about what he views as a major disconnect between Jerry and his coach.
We've got a head coach who we know for 10 years has been saying we're focused on Tuesday, today. That's all we're worried about is having the best practice today that we can possibly have. And that's been his messaging throughout. And the owner's talking about getting on a run and winning the Super Bowl. And they've lost 3 of their last 4. And you've got a head coach who comes out and says, we're going to evaluate the kicker. And then the front office says right after that, probably at a press conference right outside the locker room, that they weren't evaluating the kicker. All those things have an impact, and it slowly trickles down. So I think there's a lot of factors that have played into this. Coaching obviously hasn't been great at times in certain situations. Players haven't played great, but the front office hasn't been great in allowing the head coach to do his job either.
All right, so Troy is speaking about a disconnect in messaging.
Yeah.
Is this something or nothing?
This is something. I lived through the same experience. Back in those days, it was, are you a Jerry Jones guy or are you a Bill Parcells guy? Right now, you're probably hearing the same schism between the messaging of what Jerry Jones is saying and Jason Garrett is saying. And it's really mixed messaging, and it makes the players have to serve 2 gods. Think about it. One is talking about the finished product every day. Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. And the coach is sitting there saying, we just got to place this next piece into this puzzle to create that opportunity for that Super Bowl. So one's being pragmatic and one is just being hopeful. And it's unfortunate because you have to align yourself with both messages. Think about it. You can't look at Jerry Jones and say, you know what, I'm siding with you, so therefore, whatever Jason Garrett's talking about, I don't care about. How you gonna get on the field? How you gonna get put in the best situations? And then you can't do the opposite because Jerry Jones's name is on your check that you get every single week. And this, to me, has undermined the Dallas Cowboys ever since they've gotten rid of a Jimmy Johnson and that era of wanting credit along with accomplishment.
I've said this. I got into television 19 years ago. And I said it 19 years ago, and it's still true today. The Dallas Cowboys will never win anything with the current structure of their organization. They won't. I mean, you think about it. When your owner is upset about not getting the shine, and he needs the shine, when you've emasculated your coach in every way that you can emasculate your coach, from an authority standpoint, the thing about coaching is you need to have 2 types of fear. One, fear, as in reverence and respect for the guy, and you're going to go out and play for him. 2, fear, as in I'm afraid of him because he'll cut my butt if I don't perform. You just heard it. At 1 minute, they're saying, Jason Garrett is saying, we're going to evaluate the kicker, and then right outside the locker room in a press conference, the owner says, no, we're not. The kicker's fine. Like, as a player, you look at that situation and your coach gets hot and bothered and angry and yells at you. You know what you say as a player? Dude, you ain't got no authority here.
No juice.
The owner's got the authority. You've appointed Jason Garrett. You haven't empowered him. You appointed Bill Parcells. You didn't empower him. You appointed Dave Campo. You didn't empower him. You haven't empowered anybody since you didn't get enough shine when Jimmy Johnson was the head coach. And so you fired Jimmy Johnson. And therefore, your organization will never win squat until that changes.
Wow. Smoke Aikman and his brother, Smoke Schlereth. I think it's nothing. I think this is much to do about nothing because it has always been the Dallas way. If this had been something new that we hadn't heard of, just from Marcellus, back in those days when you were there, right, you're having the same conversations. So, and that's been a while. Like, not trying to age you or date you, but that's been a while. So, why? Listen, Troy is just making light of things that he's seen as a player and has seen as an analyst. And much to your point, Mark, if this structure isn't adjusted or changed, the philosophy of it by the head guy himself and GM, you're going to continue to have much to say.
All right. So Jerry's personality is he likes to talk. He likes to be in the newspaper. He wants to be a heavily involved owner. I think there's a way it could work. Him maintaining his personality without getting in the way of the head coach. And so I think everything y'all have said is fair and accurate. But what I do think where Jerry's real mistake is that Jerry is in total control of the money. And that's what really motivates players. And when you're in an organization where it's like, oh, I can't get paid unless Bill Belichick is happy, Bill Belichick's authority reigns supreme. That's the problem. Jerry could run his mouth if Jason Garrett was the vehicle for people to get paid. I don't have a problem with Jerry picking the players and being the general manager. But the mindset in Dallas is, man, Zeke and Jerry hit it off. They BFF. Jerry took care of Zeke. Jerry and Tony Romo, that was like his godson. They went to go watch Jerry's grandson play quarterback. The way to get paid in Dallas is to be BFF with Jerry. That, to me, is the problem. If the coach had more say-so if the general manager's role was split up a little bit different, like, okay, Jerry, you can help us pick the players and construct the roster, but in terms of how we pay guys, we, the football people, determine that, then I think the coach would have more authority. Jerry could have his personality and run his mouth, but if the players knew the way for me to get paid and rewarded in this system is through the head coach, then you got a shot.
That's true to a point, and I'll point out two cases in particular. Emmitt Smith, obviously, but more importantly, Dez Bryant, who when you can see Jerry has that relationship with, but it still doesn't end well, brother, because Jerry does hold the money, but what he holds that's even more empowering than the money to a player is the ability to undermine the coach when the coach flexes for you. Think about it. When I've been there, Bill Parcells is like, I'm flexing for A player, B player. You can only go so far, and then Jerry can now cut your legs from under you. And then when he comes back into this locker room, we looking at him like, it's not even that you could get me paid. It's the fact that you can't tell me what to do because you're going to get told what to do. We at least have to work under the imagery that our coach is the end all be all because he's the ones instructing us to go out there. It's like in parenting. I don't care what your disciplines are as a mother and father. They have to be in unison. Because if you have split disciplines, you got to rewire that kid. He's not going to know which way is up. And I think that's how that locker room feels.
I think it's kind of the same. You guys are kind of making the same point because you still have to follow the money because that undercutting of the legs comes from him controlling the money to the coach. So, and then when you talk about parenting, the first thing you realize in that being evenly yoked situation of parenting, you guys got to be on the same page in terms of, I don't think I'm better than you. You don't think you're better than me. So the messaging and the branding that we're giving to our children is a total snapshot of what we represent as a team.
In sync.
You do not have that in Dallas. You have, as the rappers would say, and I'm getting old, there's levels to this thing, right? That's so. And that's the reality of it.
Listen, all I know is if your coach is saying, hey, we're going to evaluate a player, and your owner says, no, we're not, you got problems.
Case closed.
You got problems. And regardless of who has the money, the bottom line is your coach has no authority. And I will tell you this, being in a locker room for a long time, you guys know this. If you know your coach, it's like a substitute teacher. You didn't act right when a substitute teacher came in.
No work got done.
Nobody did.
No.
So
they better put
you have essentially assigned Jason Garrett as a substitute teacher of your football team because you've undermined his authority. And the bottom line is everybody in that locker room knows it. Every guy.
And it's story time. Like, I got two quick examples. When Bill Parcells got into a fight with Antonio Bryan, and we were right there, and we saw hands get thrown, in that moment, we were like, Antonio's gone. But Bill Parcells didn't get his way. That had to wait 8-9 weeks in the middle of the night on a Wednesday when Jerry finally gave into what we all saw. We was like, you could punch Coach now, basically, for 8-9 weeks? Okay. And then
Coach gonna have some knots on his head the rest of the way.
Look, it's a record that I had a disappointing, sorry year in Dallas, but I was protected. They told me I was good. But I got so frustrated, my ego got out of control, I went at Jerry. Because I was like, Jerry, you allowed this. You told me one thing, let Parcells do another thing. When I was going at Parcells, it was fine. Parcells was like, hey, man, I got a boss too. But when I went at the boss, that's when all things crumble. So
levels.
The point of this is Jerry needs to empower that guy who's going to talk to the 53, not just himself.
Whitlock and Wiley, joined now by Fox NBA analyst Jim Jackson. All right, time now for Darnell's question of the day. All right, if y'all want to give a little flex real quick.
Come on.
Very quickly, yeah.
That feels good.
Like that.
All time.
Yeah.
That's
Go
one
ahead.
of my. That's one of my
Question of the
Lakers.
day.
All that Thanksgiving
Another
food.
win.
All that.
Don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about my Lakers. We got another win last night with Anthony Davis fighting through an illness to lead the way with 25 points and 10 boards. Davis even got an IV at halftime so he can stay on the floor, which is just how my guys have been playing this season. Leaving everything on the court and root for the NBA's best record so far. But do you guys think it's smart for them to be pushing so hard this early in the year?
I actually do. I think this works for the Lakers. I think it works for the NBA. The NBA has a ratings problem. They have a load management problem. I think LeBron is actually being a very good leader here for the entire league and making these games important. It may cost them later in the year, but I respect what they're doing right now.
I don't respect it because
Of course you don't. Why would you?
some would say I don't like the Lakers, but I do like the Lakers. I just love the Clippers more. I'm going to say this. They're bottom feeding right now. And look, you're supposed to take advantage of the teams that they played against. 14-0 versus losing teams. 4-3 versus winning teams. Interesting. So now you're losing a chunk of flesh, putting Anthony Davis through the rigors of playing through injury and illness. To what avail? If this is about you winning a championship, you got to respect the race, the marathon it is. So here's my biggest issue. I think that they're still being fueled by the image hit to LeBron's brand as being an LA Laker. I think LeBron is like, look, last year didn't go well, so this year is going to go well. We're going to win 7 months of the year. Who cares or who knows or what? Huh?
I care.
Do you care if they win a championship? I do. I want them to, if they can. But you know what they're sacrificing in the process of that? Winning the regular season, winning the beginning of the race, being the rabbit. And I think that's going to catch up to them with fully loaded teams like the Clippers.
Well, but it's funny how the narrative has now changed that you're not supposed to play full 82 games. You're not supposed to play 30-plus minutes. Scale back. These are professionals. Now, everybody's not built the same, okay? So LeBron is averaging 35 minutes. AD is averaging 34. This is about their career average anyway. So it's not like they're playing more minutes. Now they're playing more efficiently, though, I believe, because the burden is not carried by one. It's different playing 35 minutes a game when you got to carry the load.
Yeah.
But when these two are playing together, now the load of the offense and defense is spread around, so the pressure to do it on a nightly basis is not the same. And how you manage those minutes within the game also helps a guy. I love it that guys want to still go out there and play. Do I understand the long-term effect? Analytics tells you that the long-term effects breaks you down. But we already figured out LeBron is built differently, bro. This is a different cat. Those analytics throw that out the window in regards to him. Anthony Davis coming off of injury, I get it. But long-term effect, they'll figure out how to manage those minutes. They'll be just fine. I love the fact that they want to be on the court.
To me, if I'm LeBron James, I would rather be carried off on a stretcher, like having given it my all, than to have load managed my way and get beat by the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. I would rather them carry me off injured and like, damn, he went too hard and blew out his Achilles. I like LeBron going out, guns blazing, and everybody knows I'm not reluctant to criticize LeBron James, but I got to respect this. In a league where nobody seems to care about the regular season, and finally year 17 or whatever, LeBron cares tremendously and is trying to rehabilitate his image. I respect it.
I don't, because now your self-interests are greater than the collective. Because we know we need you. LeBron, you're old. We get it. You're still amazing, but how much is left in that tank? We saw last year you had your worst injury in your career. We don't know what's the future, but guess what? Let's preserve something for whatever that future is. So he's doing what Kobe did, the whole Mamba mentality. Like, I'm going to go out in the blaze, and then I'm going to tear my Achilles, limp to the free throw line and shoot 2 free throws so everyone can buy into it. I really care. But you know how you can show that you really care also? Be precise. Be efficient. Be smart with this.
Soldier only dies one death, Marcellus.
Yeah, but this, guess what? I want you to get closer to the victory before you start dying before the race.
But he manages it, though. I mean, how you manage it in practice, how you take care of your body, the minutes on the court,
we know all that.
and how you play.
But Anthony Davis is not built the same.
But here's the difference. He plays a lot different than Kobe does. He knows how to take his breaks during the game.
Yeah, that's real.
And LeBron did say this. Say, listen, I only got so long to play this game. So I want to play the game at the full maximum ability that I can in time that I have. I wish I can go back and still play 34,
I only got this car for so long.
This is new.
We burn these tires off.
What is this, man?
It's a challenge light. It's like the challenge.
You got a challenge?
I know where that is.
Come on, throw it.
Challenge flag.
You know
Come on, throw it.
I know where you're going. Wait up.
Why are we assuming that LeBron has to have load management to win a finals? Has he ever done that ever in his career? Never. And he's never had an issue. This man, like Jim Jackson said, is built different. So I don't see, there's no evidence to this point that he has to do this to win. You guys, the Clippers, you're pretty much rolling the dice, assuming that you're going to make it to the finals. What if you guys get knocked out second round of the playoffs?
That's norm. Ain't nothing changed.
Exactly. You just wasted all that load management for no reason.
No. First of all, we have to trust those in the medical field, science, analytics, whatever you want to call it, that are saying there's an efficient model. You can bucket all day, but how long can you bucket? Last year, LeBron James was on course to try to play it all. And what happened to LeBron James? He lost it. So, look, I'm not saying that it's going to happen again, but Anthony Davis ain't built for the same race that LeBron is built for. In his career, his record has shown. He's going to miss 10 to 14 games a year. If you don't want to take advantage of that when you were in Denver last night, and the guy is hurt and sick, and you're like, nah, keep playing, dog. We need game 15. Like, that just makes no sense to me, but go ahead.
But keep in mind, load management. Here's the thing about load management to me. If you had an injury and it's something that you want to curtail, you want to keep your eye on, I get it, Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Okay, you know that.
Right.
He's prone to being hurt like that.
Right.
Kawhi Leonard with his knee, I get it, okay? But my point being is this. If he's healthy and Anthony Davis is healthy and he's saying he can go, he can go.
Oh, man, stop. You got to have a corner man to protect the boxer from himself. Everybody needs somebody to protect.
The technology today in sports medicine, these guys can play those minutes. Bro, back in the day when I came in, we flew commercial. Okay? Our nutrition was different, and we played 82.
And every one of y'all had tendinitis, supposedly.
Yeah, we all had tendinitis.
Because y'all wanted the day off, and I couldn't say it.
Maybe the day off. Maybe the day off in practice, but I didn't miss games because of it.
Oh, come on, man.
I didn't miss games because of it.
Michael Jordan used to play.
You play all the time.
Respect, but guess what? You're judged on a relative experience. If everybody else is doing it a different way, and they're going to have energy at the end when you don't.
But he don't want to be everybody else. That's my point.
Oh, that's great.
These guys want to play.
And them championships going to be behind you then.
How you figure?
That's smart.
So you telling me
this? A fresher team that's deeper than you that you're going to face in the playoffs?
Portland
you don't
was
think
fresh,
they got an
Denver
advantage?
was fresh. All these other teams was fresh. They didn't make the play. They didn't make the championship.
I'm not talking about them teams. I'm talking about the road ahead. I'm not talking about the road behind you. The road ahead right now is a deeper team that is younger, that has load management.
But it ain't guaranteed, Marcellus. It ain't guaranteed.
It don't matter. It's smarter, though. Uh-oh, here we go.
Twice. This is my last challenge.
Gonna get two challenges.
Get it.
Listen, we're using Kawhi Leonard as the example, right?
You are.
So look at last season. It worked out for the Raptors. They won the championship, right?
Right.
But we're putting it on.
Hold up. They wouldn't have wanted if Golden State didn't get hurt. Thank you. You know that. You know that.
And Golden State load manages.
Who they load manage? They didn't load manage Clay. They didn't load manage Clay or Steph.
We didn't call it load management. Don't you do?
No, they didn't do that. They didn't do that.
No.
If they didn't get hurt, Toronto don't win that championship.
Oh, I know that, but I don't know.
So all that load management thrown out the window.
Why y'all use hypotheticals against me and then don't want to let me use one for you? We don't know what they were going to do. They lost to a LeBron James-led team with Kyrie when they won 73 games.
LeBron and Kyrie. You comparing Toronto's team to having LeBron and Kyrie and not having KD?
I got a
Come on, what if, bro?
Did you predict that 73 win Golden State team was going to lose that finals? Did you predict that? Hell no, you wouldn't have a job. So you didn't predict it. So therefore, don't act like these things can't happen.
True.
Yeah.
True. Things happen, but they happen because of injury. Yeah, we got to go.
Jason Whitlock, Marcellus Wiley, joined again by Mark Schlereth and LeVar Arrington. Time now for the most fearless discussion of the day. All right, let's talk Chiefs-Patriots in Foxborough on Sunday. As a Chiefs fan, I will be absolutely embarrassed if Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Tyreek Hill don't stick a dagger in Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Did y'all watch The Sopranos? This whole Chiefs-Patriots saga reminds me of season 2 of The Sopranos. New Jersey mob boss Tony Soprano knew one of his top lieutenants, Salvatore Bopensario, a.k.a. Big Pussy, was a rat, a government informant. But Tony couldn't bring himself to kill Big P. It's like Andy Reid and the Chiefs. They know damn well the Patriots dynasty is at least 1 year past its expiration date. The Chiefs could have put an end to this last year in the AFC Championship. The Chiefs intercepted the ball at the end of regulation. The game was over. But D. Ford lined up off sides, erasing the interception. D. Ford personally extended the Patriots dynasty by 1 season. So here we are again. The Patriots are reeling. Tom Brady looks 42. He's throwing old man tantrums on the sideline, begging for Rob Gronkowski or Antonio Brown to come save him. Tom is so desperate for a receiving weapon, he'd play catch this Sunday with Aaron Hernandez's corpse. It's so desperate in New England, Boston Globe columnist Dan Shaughnessy is trying to circle the wagons with rah-rah columns shouting, "Remember the Super Bowls," like it's "Remember the Alamo." The Patriots are wounded. Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson roughed the Patriots up in November, and now it's time for Patrick Mahomes to bury them in December. What the Patriots always had was confidence. Brady never thought he was too old. He trusted that Gronk and Julian Edelman would find a way to get open and make a big play. The Ravens and Texans have shaken that confidence. Gronk is loving retired life, and Brady told Edelman on the sidelines last week that Edelman isn't fast enough or quick enough anymore. It's time to bury the Patriots. The Chiefs are healthy. Eric Fisher's back at left tackle. Chris Jones is back making big plays at defensive tackle. Tyreek Hill is still the fastest player in football. Sunday's game will be Mahomes' 4th start since dislocating his knee. There's no reason the Chiefs shouldn't win this game by a touchdown. No reason. They're the better team. The Patriots are ready to collapse. It's time. The final episode of season 2 of The Sopranos was called Funhouse. Tony had some crazy dream sequence where Big Pussy was a fish who confessed to working with the government. That dream gave Tony the resolve to do what he needed, what he knew he had to do, kill Big P. It's time to take Belichick and Brady out on a boat and make them sleep with the fishes. Anything else will be embarrassing and inexcusable this Sunday. All right, Marcellus, get us rolling. Am I crazy for thinking it would be embarrassing if the Chiefs lose to the reeling Patriots?
Yeah, it would, unfortunately. You know it would be inexcusable for the Patriots to lose a home game in December. I can't believe I wrote this. I can't believe this is fact. Last time they lost a home game in December was in 2015. Goodness. I don't think the Chiefs going to win this game, man. I'm sorry. Going to have to deal with that embarrassment if you want to call it that. But I look at it as a moment to self-correct. I look at it like when the 2007 Giants played the Patriots at the end of that season and lost by 3 and saw them again in the postseason Super Bowl where it mattered most, and they won by 3. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that the Patriots come out there and they win a close game because they always poke their head out, kind of like a little turtle, poke their head out, say, don't forget about us. Poke their head back in that shell when people forget about them. And that just gives them enough confidence to continue to move on. This team, even last year in the Super Bowl run, didn't have Gronkowski for real. They had the name, they had the jersey, they had the shell of the player. He went out there and caught 600 yards last year. That wasn't Gronk. So they found ways before, and they'll find ways again. I think that the Patriots win a close one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, you wrote they're a better team. Yeah, but they're still the Chiefs. I mean, they're still they're still the Chiefs, Whit.
They got a Hall of Fame coach allegedly.
Okay, well, how do the Chiefs win? Like, I don't have any stats in front of me. I don't care about the stats. I know what my eyeballs have told me. The Chiefs have more 40-yard touchdowns than any other team in football.
Explosive.
You know what they do? They explode on you, they get up by 21, and then they make you change what you're doing. They ain't going to score a bunch of 40-yard touchdowns against the New England Patriots in New England. Ain't gonna happen.
They don't have a problem scoring against
They
New
will
England.
call, the New England Patriots will call for a snowstorm with mixed rain, sleet, and hail, and they'll get that damn thing. I guarantee you, they'll get it.
Yep.
And I'm with Marcellus. They go in there, they botch some game clock management like they always do. They make a mistake, somebody lines up offsides, and they find a way, not to win the game, they find a way to lose the game, because that's who the Chiefs are.
And that would be embarrassing.
Well,
That would be embarrassing.
I kind of lean towards the side of it being embarrassing. Could be strong, but if there was a synonym that wasn't as strong as embarrassing, I would use that in a loss to the Patriots.
Tragedy. It'd be a tragedy.
Tragedy is strong.
That's strong, too.
Tragedy
You're
is a little
weaker,
too
not
strong, too.
Yeah.
But it would be a
Disappointing.
tremendous disappointment. It would be a tremendous
Yeah.
disappointment for them to lose this game, because in order to be the best, you have to beat the best. And this Kansas City team has not proven that they've taken that next step with Mahomes as the future megastar of this league at the position.
He had them beat last year in the AFC Championship game, and D Ford blew the damn game.
You know, a lot of people thought that George Foreman had Muhammad Ali beat. He was beating him to death on the ropes. Just nobody knew it was the rope-a-dope until the fight was over. So George Foreman, all intents and purposes, had Muhammad Ali beat until he dropped
Right in
him.
your wheelhouse, too.
So
Look at
I just think that it would be. I think it would be a hit and a setback for Andy Reid and what his narrative will continue to be as the coach of this team. Can he win the big games? Can he take this Chiefs team to the next level? I think these are the type of games that you have to win, or there are major implications connected to it.
Okay, will y'all grant me this? I've been wanting to ask this since Slayer started talking, but does anybody agree with me that the Patriots and Tom Brady lack their normal amount of confidence?
Yes, Tom Brady specifically. I mean, you have to look at how he has cried out for some type of assistance, somebody to listen to him in the front office. I think this is the most vulnerable I've seen Tom Brady as a pro.
Sure. No, I would agree with that, but I do know this. Every time that somebody tries to bury this franchise, bury this organization, bury that quarterback, they find a way to develop somebody. They find they find something that ends up being kind of the elixir that gets them over the top. You know, I don't know what all this cinnamon's about, but I'm talking about nutmeg, and I know who's got the bigger nutmegs.
Right, okay.
That's the New England Patriots organization. They got more nutmeg.
So
listen,
Big P ain't going easy is what Mark is trying to say.
Listen, I would agree, but they're shaking. They've been Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, and now Patrick Mahomes. It's his turn. He's next up.
I'm not with you guys here because, one, you could just look at their record and then they can rely on the confidence of what their record suggests. And if you look at them, golly, I mean, if you just look at their win column, loss column over the decades, I mean, all you see is 11, 13, 14, 12. And they're at 10-2 right now. And everyone's saying, oh, man, they're shaking. You know what? There's a saying, you got to fake it till you make it. Even if they're not a 10-2 team in terms of really feeling that way,
They are 10-2.
They are 10-2, and they're going to fake it till they make it. There's going to be a wrinkle. There's going to be James White exploiting the defense in a different direction. Something's going to come from them being in this position.
But my issue is I've never seen Tom Brady acting like, hey, this isn't good enough. And that's the way he's been acting all season. They win a game, and he's mad as hell, and it's basically because this ain't good enough.
Well, Josh McDaniels would disagree, and Bill O'Brien certainly would disagree when they've been just undressed by Tom Brady in critical moments. Maybe you could say that's game time emotion, but Tom Brady has shown frustration before.
But in the post-game interviews, they won a game, and this dude's mad as hell, won't answer anybody's questions. He's frustrated. He's on the side. You're not fast enough. We got to be faster, quicker, more explosive, blah. This dude, they want clearly. He's liking Antonio Brown was clowning his owner, one of Brady's best friends, and this dude's still liking Instagram posts.
But what did Brady say?
That's insecurity.
But what did Brady say? Hey, y'all, we're not 2-10. We 10-2. He knows where they are.
You want to know the danger in this conversation where we're at right now is we're more focused in on the Patriots than we are on the Chiefs. To me, if we're basing the Chiefs being able to take that next step and it not being embarrassing or an embarrassing moment, we shouldn't base it off of how vulnerable this Patriots team is. Well, because if you're good enough, if you're a team like
any jungle I've ever been in, they prey on the vulnerable.
That is very true. That is very true.
Football's a jungle.
But again, I don't think you can create the narrative of a 10-2 team being a vulnerable team. So now you got to say to yourself, we are looking at this as a big game for the Kansas City Chiefs to not embarrass themselves to Kansas City fans more so than anybody else, based off of what Kansas City could possibly represent, which is a quarterback and a talented team that can have explosive plays that could possibly take them to the Super Bowl if they're clicking on the type of cylinders to beat a Patriots team in New England.
Man. I honestly, and I'm saying this isn't fan, this is just my vibe. I will be shocked if they don't win by 10 points or more.
I'll be shocked if they win.
I'll be shocked
if they win.
The Patriots?
Yeah. No.
The Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm shocked if they win.
I'd be shocked.
Do you all... Man, these numbers are sick. We're losing ourselves like we did. Was this last year or 2 years ago when they wrote the article about the Patriots' demise? It felt like years ago, but it was probably last year.
Every year.
Yeah, every year.
It's every single year.
This team is 6th in points, defensively 1st in points, 1st in takeaway giveaway ratio. They're always in the top 5. I'm just looking like, okay, there's nothing different here except complexion.
No.
Like, we think it feels different. It's nothing different.
Chris Jones should eat up this offensive line and put pressure on Tom Brady right up the middle.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem. The Chiefs have discovered this little safety, Thornhill, who's turned into a good player. I expect Kansas City's defense to play better. And for Patrick Mahomes, to me, has taken a tiny little step back from last year. His, I don't know if it's the injury, the knee injury or whatever, his completion percentage has dropped. This is his moment, Andy Reid's moment. Eric Fisher's back at left tackle. Tyreek Hill's healthy, Travis Kelce's healthy. I know they got a little injury situation at running back, but I think McCoy's going to play. They should destroy this wounded Patriots team. If they don't, it says something about Andy Reid. I will never, if they don't win this game, I'll never believe Andy Reid's capable of winning the
You sound more like
game.
a fan, though.
Those are just facts.
What about the playoffs? You see him again in the playoffs, all this goes away?
Yeah, for me, if they can't do it now, after Tom Brady has lost his confidence. You got to bury this man right now.
Tom Brady lost his confidence with a 10-2 team? Oh my goodness!
10 points or more. Bet your more.
Are you betting it?
Oh hell yeah! Hell yes! Last night, XFL minicamps kicked off at 8 locations across the U.S. and the team's jerseys and helmets were revealed to the players. Yeah. As you can see here, we have the LA Wildcats and the Seattle Dragons.
Football.
Marcellus, the Wildcats could use an edge pass rusher if you're up to it.
Oh, yeah.
The XFL season kicks off February 8th on Fox.
Do you know an edge pass rusher?
I lost him 20 years ago.
Return to the NFL.
Seriously.
Where the 49ers had a rough week, dropping from the NFC's top seed to 5th after losing to Baltimore and watching the Seahawks beat Minnesota Monday night. Now some in the Bay Area are starting to wonder if Kyle Shanahan might be the guy holding the 49ers back, with Jerry Rice questioning the coach's late game decision to throw on 4th and 1, saying, quote, "We got to find a way. 4th and 1, you got to give the ball to that running back. You've got to leave it up to that offensive line to get you 1 yard. That hurt us during this football game, and it also hurt us during the game against Seattle." All right, well, Shanahan's decision-making cost the 49ers in the playoffs.
I don't see how. And I also don't see how we're collecting independent moments and now just going to start this narrative of Shanahan. Look, everybody saw that Super Bowl. Everybody was disgusted in it. I'm sure Shanahan as well. But this year, he lost to the greatest kicker in NFL history last second, and he lost to MVP front runner, or at least in the race, and Russell Wilson in overtime. Like, that's bad play calling, play making. I don't see where this is really coming from.
Yeah, the reason they are where they are is because of the play calling of Kyle Shanahan.
Indeed.
You look at that series before that 4th down. First down, they run a fake jet, like a fake ghost motion. Deebo Samuel stops running behind the quarterback. So the guy that's covering him runs across there, and he's just sitting in the hole on the running play. It's a 3-yard gain. Deebo Samuel keeps running. That may break out. That's not Kyle Shanahan's fault. That's a lack of execution. Second down, offensive tackle in the double team. He goes up to the second level before he secures the first level. That guy makes the tackle. Now you're down in third down and 6. And in that particular one, the wide receiver, Emmanuel Sanders, doesn't get a block.
Mike Shanahan gave you great notes.
Well, no. I mean, I went back and...
Oh, Mike.
No.
He played for Mike.
Right, I played for Mike. But, I mean, the bottom line is you had 3 execution busts. Yeah. And then on 4th down and 1, you got your George Kittle, best tight end in football, wide open, and Jimmy Garoppolo's holding the ball like he's got... Like, that's not a coaching issue. That's not a coaching issue. That's an execution issue.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You can always give 20/20 hindsight and sound like, you got all the answers. And listen, I'd never be one to try to bring smoke to the GOAT. But I'm agreeing with you, Mark. I think that you're talking about execution. You're down to 3rd and 1, and you had some successful run plays that got you to a 3rd and 1 situation. There's nothing wrong with throwing the ball on a short 1-yard situation. You could say, oh, you should have ran the ball, but if you hit them with a throw when they're expecting to run, if it works, everybody sits there and they continue
to the quarterback $27 million to make that
throw. Do you make the throw? And I think that it's as simple as that. You don't get so caught up into him making a bad play call versus it being the execution and what you're watching take place on the field.
Yeah, I just think the strength of this team is Kyle Shanahan and the defensive front four. And I don't question anything Kyle Shanahan does. And I used to be a skeptic. I took Donovan McNabb's side when he was over in Washington, and I was wrong. But this kid has coached his ass off. And to me, everybody's avoiding the real problem, the media in San Francisco. To me, if they don't advance, it's probably going to be because Jimmy Garoppolo's going to turn the ball over.
There it is.
Bang, bang.
He's going to turn the ball over. That's what he does so far. And so it won't be Kyle Shanahan's play calling because, the Shanahans can coach.
Yeah, look,
really well.
I'm still believing in the maturation process of Jimmy G coming off the injury, how he's grown over the course of this season, and I think that continues to the postseason. But the whole 4th and 1, go forward, and first of all, we've been there. All of us have played in the trenches. 9-on-7 drills, we have to go and do them. Jerry Rice and the receivers get to go over there and watch us. It's a shrunken field. 4th and 1 is not a gimme. And if you do a 4th and 1 and pass it and not convert it, oh, man, all hell breaks loose. Yeah. So I don't think he was in a win situation.
Bottom line is you had 3 chances. You ran the ball 3 times. You didn't execute on those 3 plays.
Thank you.
So at what point am I going to continue to reward you when you're failing? And that the tight end was wide open and Jimmy Garoppolo held the ball. I'm sorry. Like that ain't anybody else's fault but theirs.
Uncle Jimmy's here to talk about our approval ratings for Cam Newton. But first, who's your big dummy of the day?
My big dummy of the day is the person that on October 22nd, 2019 said, I'll never bet against Bill Belichick and the Patriots again. What the hell you just doing that last segment?
Well, that's because the last time I bet against him, I won, and I'm going to do it again. I bet when they played Baltimore, I think, or...
That kind of sound like, I'll never drink again.
All right.
If you let me live.
Let's talk some Cam Newton, who will reportedly have surgery on his injured foot in the wake of Ron Rivera's firing. Cam is expected to be fully healthy by March when the Panthers will need to make a decision about what to do with the former MVP. Marcellus?
Yes.
Where do you think Cam plays next year? Carolina or the field?
Nope. Carolina. He's going to be a Panther. I think David Tepper is all in on this 1-year, $19.1 million future franchise quarterback in Cam Newton, just to see what's left in the tank. So, yeah, I think he's going all in. And the same week that he fires Ron Rivera, he shows up at an event for Cam Newton. Cam Newton comes out, start talking about how it's been such a tough year and what he's going through. Now he's having this surgery. Ron Rivera's fired, and he goes to the event all in 1 week.
Yeah, he sounds like he's recruiting because Cam may be looking elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
I'm going to bet the field. All right, Uncle Jimmy, Cam Newton, what's your take?
Look at, you know what they say.
Yeah.
What they say?
Any brother that eat yogurt got to have a problem.
What?
Who says that?
What?
Look, man, Cam ain't been right since he done started making them damning yogurt commercials.
Dannon.
Look. He came into the league, who was he? He's Superman. Heisman Trophy winner. National champion. #1 pick. Dabbing all over everybody.
Yeah.
The boy had the world at his feet.
Yeah.
2015, he goes on a Super Bowl MVP run. And then what else happened in 2015? He signed a deal with the damn Dannon yogurt people. And that's when all the boys' problems started.
How?
Look, hush your face. The Book of James teaches us.
You mean the Book of Jimmy?
Same thing. Listen. There are certain foods that are not meant to be consumed by the black body.
Wow. I like
Look, everybody know that yogurt is black folk intolerant. You understand what I'm saying? And there's a lot of food like that.
Like what?
Cottage cheese, potato salad made with real mayonnaise with not Miracle Whip.
Okay, I'm with you.
Pumpkin pie.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, man, somebody asked me one time, what's worse? Sleeping with an ugly woman or eating pumpkin pie? How the hell am I supposed to know? I ain't never ate no damn pumpkin pie. Look here, man. Look, if Cam was going to have to... What am I trying to say here? Look, if Cam was going to have to get his foot cut on, he should have just did it the old-fashioned way. Just kept drinking Kool-Aid. Let me break it down for you. There are 4 basic food groups for black people. You got the greens. That's collard green, mustard greens, and the sticky greens.
That is not the green.
You got the beans, black beans, pinto beans.
Black eyed peas.
And anything being on the McDonald's dollar menu. And last but not least, the newest member, the new Popeye spicy chicken. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all this, y'all don't believe me. Diet is everything. And look, nephew, nobody know this better than you because your diet is everything. Look at Colin Kaepernick. Went vegan, fell to his knees, and ain't never been able to get up since. Guarantee you, Lamar Jackson's mama got him somewhere filling up with macaroni and cheese, floating around in oxtail gravy. But look, Cam already on the road to recovery. He done got rid of that yogurt.
Yeah.
But now y'all know who replaced him? Dak Prescott. That's why the Cowboys having all day problems. Now look, Dak gonna show up next year, he gonna look just like that. Look, yogurt is black folk intolerant.
Black folk intolerant. First I heard that. I got Cam all the way down to scout team, which is where I had him, but he's unavailable, so I dropped him to 0 in job performance.
0,
Scout team, 41.
Oh, man, I got him at GOAT status. I tell you why. He had to go to 14. He got a surgery finally. No more of this rehab and hoping that it's going to get right. It's going to get right now.
He should have stuck with Kool-Aid.
Everything else stays the same.
The internet agrees with me at 40% scout team. How you gonna be GOAT status and you ain't played in a month?
He got the organization by his hand right now. Eating up the palm of his hand.
He got ungoated.